Welcome to the In the Middle podcast, a podcast where we talk about every avenue of life because life really takes place in the middle, not the beginning, not the end. How do we navigate the middle? Hey, welcome everybody to the next episode of In the Middle, the podcast where we talk about really life, because life is not just how we start or how we finish, but what happens in the middle. So
this is part 2 episode.
Yeah.
That we just did part 1 about movies. If you watch that, me and Des were kind of going through funner episode of our favorite movies. I definitely want to recap that. We also had some great conversations even after the camera was off. I wish we would have just went longer on that one, just kept the part 2 going.
Yeah.
But, my top 3 favorite movies were Rush Hour, the Batman with Heath Ledger and Joker. I forget what that was called. I think Batman Forever, but I forget. And then Purple Rain. And yours, top 3 were?
Dead Poet Society, Gladiator, Saving Private Ryan. Not necessarily in that order. I think I'd still put Gladiator at 1, but they're my 3.
Okay. If you watched last week, you will have noticed that I had never watched any of Dez's movies.
And I only watched one of yours.
Well, I decided to right that wrong. And I watched Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
That was one, I believe, last week, though, for you. I believe that was the top one.
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay, okay.
But wow. Hey, so, well, what do you think?
I don't get it.
You don't get it? You weren't drawn in? You weren't like, wow, not even the first 20 minutes?
The first 20 minutes was the worst for me.
It is horrible.
It is hard.
It's horrible.
Storyline is great. And the meaning of what they're going after is great.
Yeah.
War movies, I really gave it a strong try to. And I wanted to. I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
But, I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But let's get into what we're talking about in today's episode. And I think that is, why did we talk about movies? Why did we, what made us go on that kind of episode? We've never even kind of talked about anything like that. But what is it about movies today that you feel like we need to know?
Yeah.
How can we dive into that a little bit? That beginning, middle, end that we kind of discussed a little bit at the back end of.
This is something that I've been ruminating with for years and years and years. I'm by no means an expert on this, but I've made observations that I cannot shake, and that are movies, or even now it's seasons of TV shows that people watch that we get engaged in. There are undeniable themes taking place in every movie or season that we get engaged with. We as humans are intrinsically connected to living a story. Therefore, we connect with story. We connect with journey because we are on a journey. We engage with the story because we are living our own story.
Yeah.
And it just captivates us. It draws us in. And yet every great, very subjective, every great movie, every great season of TV show will have themes in it that are resonating deep in our soul. And because it resonates with our soul, we get consumed in that story. And in some way, shape or form, we even vicariously want to live that story. Yeah. And we can feel it.
Kind of getting sucked in the movie almost.
It's like, wow. Yeah. And our emotions happen. I mean, do you want to talk about emotions and unusual?
Okay, so
this was so funny.
Sidebar, real quick. One of our producers, Jeff, here, that kind of helps produce the show with us. But we came to find out. We asked him what his 3 favorite movies are, and he told us. And one of them happened to be Cool Runnings.
Yes.
Which no sidebar. I just didn't expect that from that individual, Cool Runnings. But what added to it was that he got emotional in Cool Runnings.
Yes.
Now I don't know if that's one tear. I don't know if that's several tears.
He just said, I cried watching Cool Runnings. And it wasn't cries of laughter. I cried, and we were like, what?
Yeah. And so I think the thing I want to ask you, Des, is a guy, and again, you guys don't, Jeff is hard to have context, but a guy like Jeff being pulled into Cool Runnings and crying, and this idea of beginning, middle, and end, and we get sucked into this story.
Yep.
How is that, what am I trying to say? How is that in the middle? How does that relate to this podcast in the middle and the things that we've discussed and short sprints and
So here's what I've got. I believe every movie. I mean, there's going to be exceptions, but for the majority, movies, stories, seasons, whatever, there is something in every single one of them that it relates to the past. There's always a backstory.
Okay.
There's a backstory behind the main plot of the movie. There's a past, then you live in the present with them, but that present is always propelling us to a future. There is past, present, future. Even with Cool Runnings, you get engaged because you long for this Jamaican bobsled team to exceed expectations.
Yeah.
Maybe even potentially win. And, this is not, it's Cool Runnings, it's an old movie that we're not going to reveal it here, but there's a craving. We want the movie to end well.
Yes.
We want either things to be made right.
Yeah.
We want things to be happily ever after. Or we want justice. But we want things and I'll use this phrase and I really believe it. We want the end of the movie to put us in a space where we believe things are put in divine order. And even if it's not, it then calls us to go, but in my life, what does that mean? It calls us up to something. So past, present, future are three themes that are in every great movie, and there are more, but carry on.
Okay, but just for today, just for the sake of continuity, and just a little TV spoiler, I want to use Save It Private Ryan.
Okay.
Because
great.
I just watched it.
Great.
And I think kind of diving into this past, present, future of that movie will help me even understand it even more, right? So there may be some spoilers here, just so we're all aware.
I mean, it's an old movie.
It's an old movie, but we're going to dive into Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
All right. So now keep going with this past, present, future, and Private Ryan.
So
this will be our reference. Yeah.
So the past was there had to be a backstory.
Okay.
And the backstory was, how did Private Ryan get to be where he was? It's World War II. He is where he was. And his brothers have been killed on the battlefield. And actually the main character is not really hardly in the movie. And that's Private Ryan's mother.
Yeah.
And it is their mission to save him, because they didn't want his mother losing everyone.
Yeah.
So there's a backstory, and the backstory was those who have already died in her life that we know nothing about, but they already have. But that starts it at something's not right. It almost to a point of you feel for her, but also that doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
And how can we fix this, help this, improve this? The past is where we learn from. So applying this to our lives right now, the past is where we learn from, and the past is so important because things that have happened in our lives or happened historically can really help us shape the future. So past, present, future really is faith, hope, and love.
Ooh. So one more time.
Faith is rooted in what has happened past. I trust because this happened. So for the follower of Jesus, that statement is, I have faith, I believe God because he has demonstrated to me how much he cares, he loves, he is willing to demonstrate that. That has been done through the life of his son, life, death on the cross, resurrection.
Okay.
So past is important in our story, and even if our own personal past has some hurt, it is shaping your present and your future. How it shapes it, that's the story.
So not to go on a tangent, but not to take us way off, but let's just say I'm in my past, and I believe that I got myself out of that situation more than this divine power of Jesus. How does that relate to faith then?
Okay, I just think there's this. There is nothing wrong in you saying, this was my past, and I made a decision to forge my future in spite of that. I'm going to not make that my story.
Yeah.
I'm going to live a different way. Okay, absolutely. But when it comes to faith, you've still got to ask a question, where is your faith? Who is your faith in? And at some point, you are placing your trust somewhere. I'm going to say, do I trust myself? Sometimes, but I'm not perfect. So I need to place my trust in that which is absolutely trustworthy. Now, in this, when we're just looking at, I'm just going to keep it simple because there's so much more complexity there.
Yeah.
But the past of any great story movie in your life is the place that we look at to learn from, be it learn from mistakes or learn from success or learn from evidentially some an event in your life that has formed you. So your past is very significant, and every great movie and story, there's a backstory.
There's a backstory.
For you, the Joker wasn't born the Joker.
Yeah. There was hurt and pain before.
Backstory, and that really forms it. And to be honest, a lot of movies, like Cool Runnings, this idea of against all odds, from where the small beginnings to becoming
great
at the Olympics is like, whoa, that's wild.
Yeah.
And the insignificance it may seem of one person in Saving Private Ryan, Michael Ryan, he's the insignificance of one person amongst the thousands of lives that were lost in World War II.
Yeah.
It shows, although the significance of that one person matters. Therefore, do I matter? That one person was fought for. Am I worth fighting for? That one mother and her need, do we care about her? It takes this huge World War II narrative, historical event, with the thousands upon thousands of lives, not just lost but impacted, and narrows it down to one.
Wow.
To one. And that's what I think, that's what movies do. It's like one, and we place ourselves in that story, in that one. So the past is there, and then you live in the movie, which is the present. Here is what is going on. But inside of you, you are longing for an outcome, which is then future. Where are we going in life? So for us in life, where are we going? Right. We're living in the present, but are we just existing? Or is there a sense of purpose and meaning and direction? A sense of destiny, a sense of community and belonging, those cravings in our soul.
So the present part in Saving Private Ryan would be what? Him?
That's the adventure. That is the rescuing story. And then you've got the other character of Tom Hanks, Captain John Miller. He is leading this with his backstory. I think is a teacher or something. He's not really even like an expert, but he is captured by the mission. He has one mission: find him, save him, return him to his mother. Spoiler alert: Private Ryan does get rescued, but Captain John Miller, who led the whole thing, doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And the movie starts and ends with, Private Ryan going to to Arlington Cemetery and going, oh wow, wherever it's the whole. It's a powerful moment, really, really powerful.
I will say that was really, really, really powerful.
That is a moment. So the present is you're living in it, and all along you're going, oh, I hope this turns out all right, and then somebody else in the story is impacted or taken out or didn't expect that, and me and my wife have just started watching, we hadn't watched it and it's been around for years, Designated Survivor, that TV show.
Is that different from the regular Survivor?
No, Designated Survivor is a drama based upon a guy who becomes a president of the United States because they bomb the Capitol and all the people get wiped
movies
out.
Like that. Okay, I've seen a movie
with TV season
like that.
It's a TV season.
Got it.
But as you weave through the episodes, there is just a lot of unexpected twists and turns because it sounds weird, but we crave adventure.
Yeah.
We crave adventure. We don't like the uncertain, so we'll watch it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, it's not happening to me, but I still have a need for that.
Right.
So I'll engage with that adventure and the highs and the lows and the wins and the losses, and we engage in it. I mean, I think that's why we like sports.
Sports, yeah.
So I like sports. There is that. Oh, there's the highs and the lows.
We associate a great game with a close game. Like it was
it's not
close.
A blowout.
And,
Correct.
Blowouts we don't associate, but a close game going back and forth, and definitely.
Yeah, so that to me is, when you look at movie, and I say this because this is a great opportunity for us to look at our own lives and go, do I want to just have my only soul stirring from watching a movie and being in it? Or is it because that's a story and my life is story?
Yeah.
And the overwhelming majority of any movie is the middle. There's a starting point, there's a closing scene, but it's in the middle that we're drawn in. It's, and
let me ask you something. Do you think it's difficult for somebody to watch a movie that relates so close to their own life? Do you think people don't like movies that remind them of where they're at in their current situation?
I think what happens when we do like movies is we're watching something that we think will be a bit of escapism, and we find ourselves actually in it. And that's my unusual one. When I went to watch The Greatest Showman,
yeah,
it's like I wasn't, it's a musical, okay, whatever.
You are musical though.
But I found myself like going, okay, there's the theme again. He has a purpose. He has a meaning. He has, again, there's three big themes. The rescue is key. And for men, most of the time, if there's not a sense of rescue in the movie, it's lacking something. But all too often, believe it or not, is the man is looking to rescue his woman, his beauty.
Right.
There is something about rescuing his wife or rescuing his girl or rescuing his family.
Yeah.
Or rescuing a city with Batman.
Right.
There's a need for rescue in there. And so I think it sometimes just captures us. For me, anyway. If I'm watching a movie and there's a theme in it that's resonating in my soul, it's got me. I'm in. I don't go to the movie to intentionally do that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I asked that question because my movies are very lighthearted. And where I can find the past, the present, and the future in them, I think the heaviest movie that I'm watching of my favorite movies is a Batman, because of the sense that Batman is just trying to rescue a city, but he's also trying to find his own identity in what he is doing and rescuing people, right? Being a savior, or strong word, but being a rescuer of people. Does that make sense?
No, I
That
agree.
is one of the strongest movies that I think that I enjoy, but in the sense it's still the outcome of he wins and he finds himself, and he, at the end of the story, there's so much wrestle of in the middle. And that, I guess I could say that reminds me of my own life, of just so much insecurity, wrestling in the middle. I'm a creative, that happens all the time. Can I do this? Am I really able to do this? The second guessing for us creatives a lot. To then, even like Purple Rain, to be able to stand on a stage in a small club and not a mega theater and be comfortable with yourself and deliver one of the best shows or best performances you had, and what you would assume be millions and millions of people. I think musicians get that mixed up sometimes. It's like, oh, my best show is going to be in front of thousands and thousands of people. No, your best show is when you're going to actually find who you were made and created to be. And for Prince in that movie, once he found that, his best show was in a closet, almost a room.
Okay, so this then has to be said. This is really clear to me. These three things, threes is such a significant thing. Past, present, future.
Yeah.
Faith, hope, love. It was declared by Jesus. He said, I am the way, truth, life.
Yeah.
This is very connected with that, a sense of adventure, a sense of rescue, and something to fight for. There's the three. You know what I mean? There is that sense that we need that at the core of our being. We crave in our very being this need for, I think we have a need for meaning, we have a need for destiny, and we have a need for, I even use it, a need for intimacy, real connection.
Yeah.
These three are all one and the same. All those different threes, they all interconnect, which is why I believe the power of journey and the power of story resonate with us. So my question to everybody who's listening to this conversation is, okay, how's it going? That sense of meaning, that sense, purpose, that sense of connection, intimacy, that sense of destiny, how does that roll out? Faith, who can be trusted? Can anybody be trusted? Who do I believe in? That's a trust issue. Hope, where is my future? That's a destiny question.
Yeah.
That's that movie. We've got the past and we've got the future, but right in the middle of the faith and the hope is love. And it's like, it's not a cliche. It is everything. It is the greatest of these. And where is that best demonstrated? So when Jesus says, I am the way, truth, life, it's like, okay, the way is, here's a direction. Here's the hope, truth, faith, life. That's love. That is just love in its purest form. So you can feel those themes coming out of every movie, even if they don't have to be a romance story to see that, and I'm not a big Marvel guy and everything else, but look at the stories, why is it, even though it's old school, why does Superman really have a big craving to rescue Lois Lane? Well, what? He's saving the world?
Right.
But then it's just one.
It's just one.
Spider-Man with MJ. There's still this one. So my question and our question needs to be, what rescue mission am I on? Who else is in my sphere that I feel a need to be part of their rescue, to fight for them, to live the adventure with? What is that? And I think that comes with meaning and purpose and cause. That all comes in. And we'll get into a future episode. I talked about on Sunday the components of what is really an excellent life. And our talent and ability is just one small part of it. So I'm really, I think that's the power of you. And if you guys, when you look at your movies that you enjoy or your TV shows that you enjoy, your soul, something's in there going. And it's one of those three themes, if not all of them at the same time. Rescue, adventure, battle. Faith, hope, love. Past, present, future.
So you're saying that these themes, though, can even coincide together, right?
They do coincide together because they are...
You can be in rescue and be in the past.
And is it possible, and I believe it is it possible that is another definition of the Imago Dei? We are created in the image of God. Are these themes in our very soul, do these themes resonate with the very heart of God?
Wow.
That sense of coming to rescue, to redeem, to make right, to restore. Yeah. But in the middle, there is a trust, there is adventure, there is a battle. This is the narrative, and I almost think our minds benefit from an element of what we think is escapism. We benefit from... Let's watch somebody else's drama because our own is so loud.
Yeah, that's definitely me. That's definitely me. Yeah,
and that's why for a lot of people, sports is therapeutic.
Yeah,
or
lighthearted movies, whatever or comedies. But even the comedy has what you're.
Yeah, and there you go. Before there were movies, the scriptures say that laughter is a good medicine for the soul.
Yeah,
there is something about our physiology and neurology that when we are just laughing and joyful, the endorphins go. It's a known thing. It releases. Science now knows what it releases, but before they discovered that, humans felt what it released. So this is who we are. We are deeply, deeply spiritual beings, but we are created with these moments, and so. Yeah,
that's so good. I just want to say, I know we can't really make this a part 3, but I would really love you guys to comment. What are you rescuing? What is your story? What when Des said that? What is? Because I'm kind of thinking about that, and I sure will after this podcast. But I would love I'd love for you guys to comment because I really want to get to a place where we can kind of start having some of these podcasts off of what you guys are saying and things that we need to discuss. So I just want to encourage people in that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
do we need to add anything more, or enough is enough?
I think that's our part 2.
I think it is.
I think that's our part 2. I really thank y'all for joining us again. Please comment. Please tell us your favorite movies. Tell us what your story is and what you're rescuing, like Des said. And we will see you in the next week.
We will.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care, everybody.